For our project, we organized a campaign called Totem Fights World Hunger. During the week of October 28th to November 1st, we ran activities in the Totem Park residence focused around world hunger.
We engaged the residents of Totem Park in issues such as food waste, hunger in North America, hunger worldwide, and what individual actions could be taken to help fight this global food insecurity.
On Monday of the week, we set up a display showing the amount of food waste generated within the Totem Park dining hall on a single day. The display featured photos of the garbage and food waste at Totem Park, as well as facts and figures on food waste and its impact. We set up the display near the entrance to the dining hall and tried to make people conscious of the impact their food waste can have, in hopes they would think actively of this when buying their meal.
On Wednesday, we screened the documentary A Place at the Table. Released in 2012, the film gives an accurate picture of food insecurity within the United States. The film was chosen because we wanted to show that the world hunger crisis is not limited to far-off developing countries, but is happening close to Canada in countries that are considered quite well developed, such as the United States.
On Thursday, which was Halloween night, we organized a food drive in the local neighborhood as a part of the Trick or Eat campaign. We went door to door with our team of 15 volunteers asking for canned goods instead of candy.
According to Food Banks Canada, in March of this year, over 94,000 people in British Columbia accessed a food bank. This figure was higher than I had thought previously, and so we wanted to increase the awareness of this problem and support the food bank at the same time.
Trick or Eat was a great way to get residents engaged with this local problem, and it really connected them to this idea that food insecurity is happening in Vancouver too. Totem Fights World Hunger came to an end on Friday with a pledge night. We set up a table in the Commons block and gave residents the opportunity to make a pledge for change. After a week of generating awareness, we encouraged them to act and make a pledge of their choice.
If we only think about the problem and don't do anything, even something small, nothing can change. This was the main reason for the pledge night, and also was a greater goal for the Totem Fights World Hunger campaign. The actions we took for Totem Fights World Hunger helped address critical aspects of food insecurity. Our waste display was focused around showing Totem Park residents the amount of food waste that is generated within our community. It is estimated that 800 kilocalories per person per day is wasted in household consumption and distribution, and if the number can be reduced, we can help improve food security worldwide.
A survey within the Totem Park community about the waste display and posters showed that they had caused people to rethink how much food they ordered and what they left on their plate at the end of their meals. Even with a small perspective shift, the large audience within Totem Park can mean that small individual changes can have large impacts. The pledge night also worked on the idea of people making small individual actions for a large collective impact. Over 30 people made pledges to help fight world hunger, whether that was by eating less animals and animal byproducts, promising zero individual food waste, or pledging to only eat seafood certified by the Vancouver Aquarium as Ocean Smart. Reducing meat consumption was a popular pledge for Totem Park residents, and with reduced meat consumption, less strain is put on the world's water supply, which promotes food security worldwide.
A survey done 3 weeks after the pledge night at Totem Park showed that the majority of residents who made a pledge had been able to follow it through.
The documentary night made an impact on world hunger by educating people on the complexity of the issue. Hunger is intricately linked with poverty, and the documentary highlighted that society needs to shift its thinking if we are to solve the issue effectively. A report on hunger and public action published in 1991 concluded that government policy can depend very extensively on the nature of public activism, including articulated demands and criticisms. In order for us to have public activism, however, people need to be aware of the issue, and we believe our documentary night contributed towards such an education.
The food drive on Halloween collected over 300 non-perishable food items for the Greater Vancouver Food Bank, which helps address hunger in our community. Of the 94,000 BC residents who accessed a food bank in March, approximately 1,300 were post-secondary students. This is almost equivalent of Totem Park population, so the figure really hits home. Helping ensure food availability for those in need was a valuable contribution to fighting hunger in British Columbia. I believe our project did make a difference. There are ways to quantify it, such as the amount of food donated to the food bank or the amount of pledges made, but I think the week also made an impact in reminding people about what a critical issue world hunger is. Many people visited our booth to say, yes, this is why I am already vegetarian, or I already eat all of my food, and I think it was worthwhile to help reinforce these beliefs. If we can keep discussing the issue, we can keep the conversation going and slowly work towards a society where consciously thinking of issues such as world hunger is the norm. I therefore believe that our week had a good balance of concrete achievements such as the food bank and pledge night, and less quantifiable achievements of engagement and education.
One thing we learned from running the Totem Fights World Hunger campaign is that it can be difficult to get people to realize just how big this issue actually is. When it comes to world issues such as world hunger, there are a lot of buzzwords that start to lose their meaning in conversation because they're so overused and our understanding of them is so limited. Hunger feels like a problem far away from us, and helping people to realize how serious it is and that it's happening here can be a real challenge. However, we also learned that for those who do stop to listen and learn, there's a lot of concern. So how does it make you feel to see this much food being wasted in Totem Park?
I hate it. I find it's really bad. A lot of food's being wasted when it doesn't have to.
It's really sad because it's really heartbreaking to think of all of the people in the world who don't have enough to eat every day.
It's upsetting.
I'm kind of uncomfortable with it.
I thought we were doing a much better job, especially since it's really heavily advertised that BCs are sustainable.
I see people wasting food all the time, and it's like just something our society takes for granted, like having enough food.
I wasn't expecting the amount that was wasted.
Do you think that there is a food shortage problem?
The problem is that I'm not completely aware of it. I know that there is definitely in specific parts of the world, but like if you were to say that in Vancouver itself there's food shortage, I wouldn't have guessed that.
We can't force people to care, we can only educate them and give them opportunities to help. The actions that they take beyond that is up to them.
For myself, I pledge not to waste food from the dining hall, but I've noticed changes in my purchasing habits elsewhere as well. For example, when buying fresh produce, I'm consciously asking myself, will I realistically be able to finish this in time? If the answer is no, I change my purchase. Moving forward, I plan to continue with this pledge. As reported by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, roughly 1/3 of the edible parts of food produced for human consumption gets lost or wasted globally, which is about 1.3 billion tons per year. After learning about these troubling statistics, I have made it a personal mandate to waste as little food as possible, and I want to support others in making similar decisions.
Moving forward, I am still committed to my pledge of eating vegan 3 days a week for the month of November. Already this commitment has altered my thinking about my diet, and I believe that past November, I will try to eat less animal byproducts, though perhaps in a more flexible manner. Our Trick or Eat campaign also had many leftover supplies, posters, flyers, name tags, and I plan on storing them with the transition report within Totem Park, so that hopefully someone is willing to take the campaign on next year and make it an annual event.
While coordinating the events of the week was a substantial amount of work, we were able to challenge the perspectives of the Totem Park community around the issue of global food insecurity and provide food for the Greater Vancouver Food Bank. These accomplishments did not solve world hunger, but they did make a difference, and we therefore consider our project a worthwhile initiative.